just one win away from tying his father in terms of victories. The Villages, a sellout here for the Sun Bowl finale outside. First up, right-hander Pete Weber.
Pete's first shot. Excellent shot by Mr. Weber. No holes barred, Pete calls for. He says, I am on to play today.
Doug Kent, 13 years a pro, 11 as a touring pro with 4 PBA national titles and 3 regional crowns. Well, he says he thrives under pressure. He lives for who you bowl against and how you're bowling. Said he gets his blood pumping. Says he's been struggling for 5 or 6 weeks despite the fact he's coming off a great fall. Two in a row.
Great shot by Doug. He told me that today that he is going to opt to slow the ball down and try to circle the lane a little bit more. He's going to have to do that to control the pocket.
Weber now off a strike in the first.
Great shot off Pete's hand. He is here to win. He has told me that he's going to do everything possible. He's put his pass behind him, and he is ready to do the job necessary today to turn this one in.
Talking about the weather last night with Pete Weber. Said obviously when you're in Florida it can play havoc when you're outside, but he said, you know what, I'm not going to worry about it. Going to talk to my wife tonight on the phone, not talk about anything heavy, just kind of relax, get a good night's sleep.
Well, he's obviously showing some relaxation right now because he's throwing excellent shots. Another excellent shot right here. He should get paid. Great shot, and he's going to show some emotion. Pete is a very, very, very emotional player, and he will jump in and give Doug all he wants. Match is all even at this point. Great shot by Doug. I think he got that one just a little bit too far to the right. The ball came in a little bit behind the head pin. Solid 10 stands. When the ball enters the pocket, light flush, the ball's going to enter that lead that solid 10. So he's got to make a spare right now. Routine spare. These guys do this day in, day out. Should be no problem. Now, Doug can't let that bother him. He's going to have to get up on the left lane and refocus his thoughts and just go back to throwing a great, great shot. That's what it's going to take in order to keep him in this match. Weber's a very tough competitor. Might have got that in a little bit.
13th in the PBA World Power Rankings. We're at the Villages in Central Florida, and we've got 5 terrific bowlers in the final. The Sun Bowl under the Florida sun. We'll be right back. Today's ESPN presentation of the Villages Sun Bowl is being brought to you by the Villages, Florida's friendliest retirement hometown. Proud host of this exciting outdoor match, the 3rd year the Villages has hosted this outdoor championship of bowling. A standing room sellout crowd here at the Villages. Pete Weber, 38 years old, seated 5th, just 1 win away from tying his legendary dad. A little extra pressure maybe.
Well, I think Pete will accomplish some of the tasks his dad accomplished because he is an outstanding player. You don't mess with this guy. When he's on, he's on. Pete told me he elected to start out a little bit farther today and play the second arrow. All week, he played deeper than the fourth arrow, throwing it real slow to the right and hooking it back to the pocket. And he said, I'm going to take a shot at this. If I turn it into something, I can do well. But I'll tell you what, as soon as it falters, I'm moving in and going for it.
4 in a row.
He is the kind of player, too, that is plenty capable of shooting 300. He's done it many, many times, and I'll tell you, there's been a couple, 2 or 3 times he's actually had 10 in a row on the telecast. Little left tap, you go, boy. Pete's going to tell him about it. That's all there is to it. He's going to tell him about it. Great shot by Pete. The confidence is just exuding from his body.
By the way, a 300 game in the championship round worth an extra $10,000 here at the Villages. Doug Kent, who has had some very impressive finishes recently. How come?
Doug Kent, in my mind, is the premier player of the last 3 years. I'll give him the most improved athlete on tour. He's learned to do a lot more things with the bowling ball, and he can control the pocket a lot better than he could 3 years ago, which has led him up to being one of the premier players now. So look to see a lot from him in the future.
Kidding around about the Florida sun last night, he said, well, the first thing I might do if it's too hot and too bright is wear a hat.
He did say that, but I like his styling in the shorts right now, so he looks pretty cool.
And the sunglasses, just got to trust your instinct a little bit. Yes! Oh!
Doug told me before the match he's got to be cognizant of his speed. If he throws it a little bit too hard, the ball's going to go a little bit too long, as that shot did right there. So he has got to trust his speed in order to make those perfect shots.
The official PBA practice centers support the PBA and are in place to go bowl in a league, have a party, or roll a few games. Open play. There are several hundred participating centers throughout the country. And for a complete listing, just a mouse click away at PBA.com.
Now, Doug stands extremely far up on the approach. When he has to throw the ball slow, that's what he does. It backs his speed down. So that is a tool in his bag of tricks, so to speak, in order to help him slow the swing down. And he told me this was going to be a real tough for him to accomplish today because of the fact that it's a different environment and the wind and all the factors. And so I'm sure they're all playing havoc on him right now.
Said he's been second-guessing himself quite a bit this week and said you can't do that. He's having trouble repeating his good rhythm and just not trusting his swing and his mechanics.
Well, he's not had an exceptional last few weeks, the talented player that he is, and so he said he really needed to break through this week and have a good finish in order to boost his morale and his confidence going into next week. So we'll just see what happens here in the next few frames. Like a good shot from here. Wow. Excellent pitch. He might have been just a little bit faster with the speed. He's going to drive the ball maybe 2 foot farther down the lane, which is going to make the ball enter behind the head pin, push the 6 in front of the 10, and the 10 pin will stand. Routine spare, covers it perfectly.
And a nice round of appreciation after his first ball for the start after 4 in a row. For the man that you have described, interestingly enough, as somewhat of a loose cannon.
Pete is a loose cannon. I tell you what, you never know what to expect from him. You know, he's fresh off of an suspension, and he wants to guard his actions to maximize his performance out on the tour. The tour really needs him, and he is, so to speak, the John McEnroe of our tour. So, you know, we're going to try to help him out and keep him in check. Wow, another great shot. This one did just the opposite. A little higher on the head pin, more up towards the 19th and a half board as it goes into the pocket. The ball just walks right by the 9 pin, leaves it standing. Perfectly covered.
26 PBA titles for Dick Weber. One more. And, well, Dad will be tied by the son. Weber in front over Doug Kent when we come right back. Right, free forever. Enjoy 171 holes of Florida's finest golf, designed to fit every golfing skill and every retiree's golfer's budget. They are rocking here at the Villages. Dave Ozio's alongside.
Right now, Doug Kent is down by 53 pins. He is going to have to mount a major turnaround to come up and catch Weber.
You've been in this situation. When you're behind, psychologically, when does it start to work on your head?
Long about now, that's for sure. He, in his mind right now, has to focus solidly on throwing nothing but great shots because Weber's not going to let him up. And so I really see right now that that's the only thing that's on his mind.
Ask him the key to qualifying. Of course, you know the Saturday routine is as hard as anything. And he said, well, the key for him yesterday was hand position and the feel of the reaction.
Well, the players this week had to gear their speeds down in order to make the ball what we call read the mid lane. They want the ball to break around 32, 33, 34 foot and then go back to the pocket. The only way they could achieve this was slowing their speed down, and that's what Doug did so well in order to make it this far.
On the comeback trail, perhaps, the man from Newark, New York.
Pete is now up 31 pins. He's on a spare. I don't suspect him at all letting off on the gas. He's going to be full throttle ahead.
Goal of both Doug and Pete to be the PBA Player of the Year. You were back in '91. What does that do to boost one's career?
Well, there's goals that we all like to achieve out here, and that was one of them. You know, when they come out to fulfill that, that's just a niche in the gun handle, and, you know, I'm just happy to have it.
Five in a row, then two spares.
You cannot throw a shot any better than that, and the reaction shows it. Pete does something that a lot of the players on tour don't do. He gets the ball to roll extremely heavy on the lane, and whenever a ball is rolling heavy like that, it keeps the pins down once it goes into the pocket, and so that equates into more strikes on a day-in, day-out basis, and that's why he's as famous as he is. This could be the put-away shot right here very easily for Pete Weber. If this one goes down, I pretty well think it's all over. That should be game over.
Pete thinks it's over, too. Well, the venue will be the Columbus Crew Stadium, Columbus, Ohio. Mark it down. World Cup qualifying action. Mexico against the USA, Wednesday the 28th, 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 out west. The U.S. looking to extend its 16-game home qualifying unbeaten streak against Mexico.
Dug up just to finish the game out, save a little face. He'd like to strike out, but he's not going to get it. Doug told me first off, he said, you know, if I match up real well and if I can get the speed set perfectly, then I should do all right. But he's just ran into a bulldog in Pete Weber.
Well, I mean, you bowlers are no different than golfers out there. I mean, you get into a routine, a rhythm.
Yeah, and once you get set into that, see, Doug would like to have thrown the ball a little bit more firmly today. This is a little bit slow for him, so he said. So, you know, I mean, there's times when you do the best you can and take what you get, and Pete's happy right now. And you notice when Pete throws a shot, Doug throws a shot, Pete's looking away. And so I really suspect Pete will do that all the rest of the day.
Pete's not concerned at all.
Well,
not even watching. He's looking up at the scoreboard. He's looking across the street at the historic downtown and looking up at the sun.
Well, he's a comfortable winner right now, too, so it's easy to sit over there on that sidelines being a winner and just soak in the sights. Doug finishes with a 172 game. Not as good as he would have liked, but I'll tell you what, there'll be plenty more days for Doug Kent. He is a great, great player. Now, our scoring system this week is going to be a little bit different than most weeks. Normally, we use a 20-pin scoring system, and they've changed this over to a 30-pin scoring system. What that means is, on a 30-pin system, we're working off the maximum amount of score the bowler can bowl for the entire game. For example, if a player starts off with a double and then has a 9 spare, and then the other player starts off with 3 in a row, the person with 3 in a row can potentially bowl 300. The player with 2 in a row, 9 spare, can only bowl 279. So therefore, that would make him minus 21. So that is the new system we're working off of, and that way the lead changes can swing back and forth more drastically. So it's just something that adds a little more excitement to the game and puts the players under a little bit more heat.
Well, you might have seen on that last strike that was thrown by Doug Kent, that he was having a little trouble with the footwork. We had rain earlier. They covered up the lanes as quickly as possible. You know, it took about 45 minutes to resurface.
Right. What they did was they reconditioned the lanes. They completely stripped the oil and redid the lanes completely. And also they maintenance the approaches, because it's very, very, very important to have perfect slide as it is for a perfect shot. So that's what he's doing right there, is wiping the dirt off the lane and possibly any humidity or sweat.
So Pete Weber, trying to tie his famous father Dick Weber with 26 PBA titles, will be the winner of match number 1. He'll go up against Mike Albee when we come right back.